This time I almost got stranded on the way to Disney World with my family. So if you follow this channel, you probably saw a couple videos back I replaced the leaking fuel pump for my 2011 Volkswagen Jetta TDI. So a little while after that, had the whole family loaded up in the car here on the way over to Orlando to go to Disney World. From where I am in the Tampa Bay area, that's only a couple hour drive. And about the time we got through Tampa itself, I started noticing that the fuel gauge was dropping rapidly in the car. Obviously, being a TDI, it gets pretty good gas mileage, so that was a warning sign. The other thing that was happening was the back window was getting dirty very quickly, to the point where I couldn't see out of it and I had to keep using the washer to clean it off. So, you know, a normal person would pull over and check the car right there. Of course, I didn't do that. I kept going. So by the time we got to Orlando, I did pull over and I checked, and this is what I saw. That's bad. Real bad. So, same problem, well, similar problem, coming from the same fuel pump anyway. This time it's not the pump itself leaking like it was originally when I replaced this. This time it's actually, if you can see it down in here, the little fitting that screws into the pump itself keeps working itself loose. So on the road, I managed to borrow a wrench from my father-in-law and tighten that back up at least enough to get us back home, and that's more or less what I've been doing since it happened. It'll be good for a couple of days, it'll vibrate, work itself loose, and then I have to come tighten it again once I start smelling diesel. So that's not a very good long-term solution. In fact, I'll probably end up having to replace that motor mount down there again because this continues to leak diesel down that direction. Maybe not, but I need to fix this the right way. So to do that, mostly going to come down to this. I got some red Loctite. I'm going to take the pump back out of the car there, put some red Loctite on that fitting, and hopefully that won't come out again, because red Loctite is the permanent Loctite, or at least that's the idea. So hopefully that will keep it from backing back out, and then of course I will try to tighten it down a little bit better as well. I also went ahead and got a bunch of these proper fuel line hose clamps, because when I did this job before, a couple of the old original spring clamps broke, and I only had the cheap screw down style vacuum hose clamps to use, and that's not really the correct fastener. So I'm going to put those on there as well. So between the two of these, hopefully that will fix it and I won't have any more leaks. So it's not a terribly difficult repair. We just got one T30 Torx screw up top here to get the bracket out of the way with the sensor. And then there's a couple of 10 mils right here. Two triple square bits down here. Which, if you're trying to do this, that's going to be your problem. Those are going to be specialty tools. So, fortunately, I have that. Kind of like a Torx bit, but different. Just different enough that you got to buy another set of stuff. And there it is. So this is an M10 bit. Down in here. Try not to lose the 10 mil in the process. So, pretty easy to get to. Now it's all loose other than the two hoses. Nope. Okay, I lied. There's one more electrical connection I need to undo here. As you can see here on the bottom, this is wet with diesel again because it's leaking. one off. Now the front. Okay. Here's the pump and the assembly out of there. For the back, it is just a fitting that is integral to the pump. But for the front here, for whatever reason, they decided to make it a screw-in barb type fitting, which, I don't know, seems kind of dumb. But this is why mechanics hate engineers, right? So I'm going to go ahead and use 1/4-inch drive, 14 millimeter, get this off of there. I don't want to use anything bigger than this because I don't want to damage this fitting if I can help it. Try not to create more problems for myself. So here's one of the things. This pump spins in this housing here. I think partially because the rubber that isolates it got all puffy and gross from it leaking diesel before. Alright. Is that loose? So this is the problem, I believe, anyway. I think this fitting keeps spinning off enough to let diesel through there. It certainly seems to be. If it's not that, I noticed the hose that connects to this is looking a little cracked and dry rotten, so could be that my hose is leaking, but the fact that this stops every time I tighten this leads me to believe it is this fitting itself. So get it good and cleaned off. Little brake clean. Alright, we'll liberally apply red Loctite to the whole thing here. I want to coat the threads good, but I don't want this getting inside of the inside the pump itself there, so just try to be careful with it. That's pretty well coated. Okay. Keep this from rotating so I can tighten it down. Oh, shit. Well, see, that's what I was talking about. I just broke one of the pump wires off there. That's great. Too rough. Right, now I gotta take this apart and fix that. Okay. I should have been paying attention as I was doing that, but I wasn't. And now I made more work for myself. Not always the way it goes. Alright, well, I stripped the other end of it here. Ideally, I would just run a new wire, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and use a butt splice connector. Do it quick and dirty here. Should work. These wires are getting kind of brittle, so I don't want to mess with them too much if I can avoid it. Nope, not going to work. Okay. So I guess I am going to have to partially rebuild this thing. At least put another piece of wire in here. Alright, a little piece of 12 gauge wire, which is thicker than what's on here, but I'd rather go thicker than thinner. Okay, well apparently I'm out of butt splice connectors. Great timing for that. So I'm going to have to do this the, in some ways, better way, but less than ideal, considering there is fuel around this, and solder this connection. So I would not recommend doing this way. I do have fire safety equipment 2 feet to my left over here, so fear not. If I catch myself on fire, I will put myself out. And of course, I didn't pretend these like you should, because I'm really smart like that. Probably enough right there. Yep, that seems pretty sturdy to me. Give that a minute to cool off, and then we'll put the heat shrink on it. And I think I just might have an end that will work for this. Yep, I think that'll do it. Okay, well, not my best repair, not my worst repair either, so wiring should be all fixed here, and I didn't even catch myself on fire. So let's put this back together and then back in the car. All right. I always forget when I do this too, these top two 10mm bolts didn't need to come out to remove this assembly. That's what holds that cage together, two on the top and that one on the bottom. So just in case you're doing this yourself, you might not need to worry about those. All right. Now I just got one more hose and a hose clamp here. Get rid of the crappy one and use the right one. This bracket goes back on top, and that's it. Need to hook up this one other electrical connection here, and that should be a job done. All right, go get the keys and see if it starts. Okay, probably not gonna, oh, it's hot in here. Hot. All right, as usual, it's probably gonna take a minute to prime. That's pretty normal. Let's see if it's leaking. Well, I think that's a job done and a success. I'll drive it around for a little while here just to make sure that it doesn't work itself loose again, and I will report back before I wrap this video. All right, well, I'm not here with the Jetta at the moment, but it has in fact been several days since I completed that last repair on the leaking fuel pump again. And I'm happy to report, so far so good. I don't seem to have any more diesel smell or any more leaks, so I think this might finally be fixed. So that should be a job done. So obviously I'm not in my normal environment. That's because I am traveling and working on picking up a new vehicle, and I am filming most of this, so make sure you check back very soon for part 1 of this adventure. But I'm going to wrap this video here, so click that thumbs up and like this if you did. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, so you don't miss my new adventure coming up soon. Leave a comment down below if you've got something to add, and I will see you next time.